eyes on one of these trainers, okay? Some of you guys have heard this speech a few times. That's okay. You always pick something up every time you hear these, so be engaged, all right? So gates. To me, the gate is the most important part of a race. Because if we can get a really good gate start and start the race out in front, it's a lot easier to maintain that lead than if we get a really bad gate and have to pass everybody around the track. Yes or no? You know, it takes a lot of skill to pass people around the track. It's a lot easier to control the race out front. So over the years, I've given the speech, and it basically comes down to three parts. There's the stance, how you stand up in the gate, timing, when you go in the gate, and then the snap, how we actually go out of the gate. And to me, what do you think the most important part is?
Snap. The gate.
The gate? What do you mean? Like what part? Stance, timing, or snap? Only one person said it right. He's sitting in the gate right now. The stance. Stance is the most important. If we start wrong, we are going to go wrong. It's like anything. The platform, that base, if it's not proper, you just can't build anything on top of it. So stance. We want to be standing up nice and tall. We're sprinters. We need to be tall, strong, and fast. We want our arms and legs slightly bent, and that way we can get moving right away. We don't want to have our arms and legs locked out, because if they're locked out, we're not going anywhere fast. We don't want to be bent down into our bike either, because if we're bent down like this, we have lost all of our power. So you want to be standing up nice and tall, arms and legs slightly bent. You want to be leaning back over top of the seat towards the back end of the bike. See how these guys are back, but they're not too far back? When you're too far back, you're going to mess up with your timing. Not only that, when you're so far back, what's happening to them when they're leaning back? They're getting all shaky. They have no stability. They don't have that control of their bike. If they're too far forward, they don't have enough room to snap forward, and they're not going to create any momentum. The whole idea, you gotta sit down, the whole idea of being in the gate is to create momentum with your body forward. So that way when your body gets by your handlebars, that it's already moving fast and your hips bring your bike out with it. So we want to create that motion, so we want to be leaning back, but not too far. Just stand back up again. We want to have our cranks nice and level. 1 or 2 clicks up, 1 or 2 clicks down, depending on the steepness of the gate. Now, if our front pedal's too high, what happens is our first pedal, it just takes too long to get around, and our second pedal comes around late. If our front pedal's too low, we don't have enough of a first pedal, and our second pedal's coming around too fast. What's the most important pedal in BMX? Your second pedal. Your first pedal is a timing pedal. It gets everything going. But your second pedal is your first acceleration pedal. It happens when your body comes forward, that momentum's pushing out that bike, and then you're stepping on that second pedal going. So that's why it's really important to have that front pedal placed properly, so that second pedal comes around when you need it. You understand that so far? So we're standing up nice and tall, arms and legs slightly bent, leaning back over the seat towards the back end of the bike. What about our wrists? Forward. Why do we want them forward? And if you've come to a camp before, just zip it. I want people who've never been here to answer.
I didn't.
Why do you roll your wrists forward?
You get more momentum.
Nope. Hi, why? So you can pull. There's no pulling on your handlebars in BMX. If anybody tells you to pull on your handlebars in the gate, never listen to them again, okay? Promise me that?
Yes.
We want to roll our wrists forward, because when we get our hips on the handlebars and we're pushing down that front pedal, we want to have as much power as possible into that second pedal. If I'm leaning back and I got my wrist back, yeah, it's comfortable in the gait, but as soon as I snap forward, my wrists end up like this from my second pedal. Everybody put your wrists like that. Do you have a lot of power there? Does that feel comfortable? You think you can whoop some butt with that? That's why we roll our wrists forward. So when we get our hips forward, everything's in a straight line, and boom, we can bring around that second pedal as fast as possible. That is why you have your wrists rolled forward. Any questions on that? Any questions on the stance? Yeah. Yep. Anybody questions on stance? You also want to make sure that your bikes are in a nice straight line. Everything runs faster, smoother, stronger in a straight line. So if we have our bikes crooked, like these guys have them, we're not going to come out as fast. Not only that, if we're out crooked and we come out and our second and third pedal crooked and we hit the kid next to us, well then you're going to have his mom yell at you at the finish line. Nobody wants that stuff, do you? Yeah. So keep your bike straight, keep your cranks level, and toes. You notice how when these guys stand up, their feet are flat? You guys know what the strongest muscle in your body is?
Your brain.
Well,
Your
you
jaw.
kind of got me on that one.
Jaw.
In your body as an athlete, what's the strongest muscle?
Calf.
Your calf muscle, right? Your calf muscle is amazingly strong. If you stand on your toes in the gait, you've already used your calf muscle. You can't access that power. But if you have your pedals level, your feet flat, when you go to push forward, you can get all that extra power out of your calf to help push. The other thing is don't drop your heels. You guys want to drop your heels? See how these guys drop their heels? Since they've dropped their heels, their ankles aren't engaged, and that power's not going to transfer from your legs into your pedals. So make sure your pedals are level, okay? Any questions? No? All right, the next thing is timing. In the UCI, USA BMX, everywhere it's the same thing now, thankfully. Back in my day, there's every track you went to, there's a different timing system. In fact, when I first started racing, my timing system was a man on that side of the gate and a man on that side of the gate holding a rope. Said, ready, set, go, and drop the rope. That's old school, all right? And then we got this big magnet on these wooden gates, and that was progression. So what you guys got here is just magic, all right? Timing. When do we go in the gate? When the gate's up? All right. But if we're watching the lights, when do we want to go?
Red.
Red?
Yellow. Green.
So it goes, what's the color go? Red, yellow, yellow, green?
Yeah.
When does the gate move?
Green.
Green. So should I go on green?
No.
No, why?
Because if you go on green, then you won't go
Good. When do I want to go?
yellow. Red.
You want to go on that first red, on the red. If you listen to the beeps, when do you want to go? First beep. Who here listens to the beeps?
I do both.
You do both? Okay.
I do
On that note, remember what I said yesterday? Always do the same thing every time. But that's what I'm telling you. That's what you need to do. Okay? So the thing is, when you listen to the beeps, where are you looking?
Red.
When you're in the gate and you listen to the beeps, where do you look?
Forward.
You do not look forward. I have stood on this side of the gate for 26 years. I have yet to find somebody looking at the first jump listening to the beeps. It doesn't happen. You look at your front wheel. I promise you. And your body's gonna go where your head looks. So if you're looking down, guess where your body wants to go? It wants to go down. If you're looking at the light straight ahead, guess where your body wants to go? Forward. There's scientific evidence, I have it, that show watching the lights has a better reaction time, has a better snap. There's a reason why every top elite in the world watches the lights. So if you do both, choose one, which is lights, and go for it. If you listen to the voice box today, let's try to make sure you watch the lights. Timing is all about where your hips are gonna be. Timing's not about when the gate's gonna drop. We all know it's gonna drop on green. Timing is gonna be where your hips are. So if my hips are right here, rider's ready, watch the gate. I see that first red. I start moving my hips, red, yellow, yellow, and by the time I get here, it's green, and I'm following it down. So timing is about where your hips are gonna be. Why is it that my bike doesn't hit the gate if I go on red? I like it. Stop making these answers. You're in the gates. I need like an empty water bottle. Is there an empty water bottle kicking around?
There's one down here on the edge.
I'll just grab a rock.
Here, we got one.
Oh, beauty. So, quick demonstration. This is my bike. Okay? That's the gate. Now I'm standing on my bike, right? When it goes, what do you do when you snap? You push down, you push forward, right? What happens to my bike? It goes backwards, and that's what happens in the gate. When we're standing on our handle, on our pedals, when I snap forward and push forward, eyes. Sit down. When I snap forward, what happens? I'm pushing against those pedals, and my bike naturally comes back. It has nothing to do with pulling on your handlebars. If you're pulling on your handlebars, you are doing it wrong. Understood? Yes or no? So by pushing on our pedals, that bike naturally comes back. But what happens, because we're snapping our hips forward, when our hips hit our handlebars at this time, it gets that bike moving right out of the gates. So timing. Pick one. Watch the light, which is red, or watch the light, which is red. Capiche? All right. Now, how many of you guys hit the gate? All right. The reason that you're probably hitting the gate is because your arms are really stiff. And as soon as you move your hips with stiff arms, your body is going to push your bike forward, hitting the gates. All right? In BMX, we haven't been on the track, so I haven't talked about it, but our bodies separate into two. From my hips down, my legs, what is this? Come on, somebody's been at camp before. You know what this is? My engine. This is my engine. From my hips up, my upper body, what's this?
Your car. Wheels. Handlebars.
It's my pilot. This is what guides my engine around the track. And the looser my pilot is, the stronger my engine can go. So when we're in the gate, there's no pulling on the handlebars. There's no pulling up on the bars. There's none of that. Your arms just hang there. Relax your arms. So when you do snap forward, your bike will naturally come back. And when your hips hit your handlebars, then your arms will take over to help with that second, third pedal. Understood? Any questions on timing? Everybody going on on the red light? Everybody gonna watch the light today, or at least try to watch the light today? Good. All right, timing. Now we're standing up, pedals level, nice and tall, wrists rolled forward. We know we're going on that red, on that first beat. All right. Cadence goes, rider's ready, watch the light. I only want you, hey, focus, all right? I only want you to do three things right now when it comes to snap. Number one, I want you to push down as hard as you can on that front pedal and drive your hips forward. That's the number one thing, it's one motion. Push forward with your pedals and drive your hips. Number two, anybody here played that silly game hockey before? Baseball? Golf? Well, anytime you got a stick and a ball, it doesn't matter how hard you swing that bat, if the bat doesn't hit the ball, what's going to happen? ball's just gonna fall on the ground. If you don't hit the puck doesn't go anywhere. If you don't hit the golf ball, your buddies are gonna heckle you. All right? It's the same thing in the gates. You guys gotta connect your hips, which is the bat, to your bars, which is the ball. If you don't, it's not gonna get driven out of the gate. So the number one thing, push down, drive forward. Number two, connect your hips to your handlebars. Drive it forward, drive it through the gates. The number three thing, which is one of the most important things, is you gotta stay tall. How many of you guys have a stall in your second pedal? A stall is you get your first pedal going, and then there's that little bit of a stall before your second pedal comes around. Every single person should put your hand up. Half the elites on the national team still have a stall. So if they have it, you probably have it. The number one reason for that is that when we snap forward, we snap into the bars. We go down into the bars, and we crouch down, bend that back leg, and it's hard to bring it around. So the number three thing is I want you to do, see how high my hand is? That's where the chest should be. Your chest protector, your logo, that's as high as your chest should be. Because when I come out up high, all of a sudden my back leg is straight. And it's really easy to bring that second pedal around really fast. So that's why when you go on YouTube tonight and watch Elite Gates, you can see when they hit the gate, they're tall, they're forward, they're in this position. They're about to drive their hips forward, and as that bike gets pushed out in front of them, that second pedal just comes down like a beast that gets you going. And actually there's a fourth thing I want you to do. I want everybody here to pretend you got Velcro taped on your hips and on your bars. How many of you guys snap your hips forward and then think you got to bring them back right away to get your second pedal? Most everybody in BMX. You've just done all this work to create momentum going that way. The worst thing you can do is at the last second move your body back. It kills your momentum. So get your hips forward into the bars. Stick them there. Bring that second pedal around. And by the time your third or fourth pedal comes around, that bike will have come out in front of you. Understood? Now, anything what I say, did I say use your arms?
No.
Did I say pull up?
No.
Your arms just kind of hang there. Everything is driven with your hips. Your hips is what's going to give you a good gait. If you're in the gate pulling up like this, guess what happens? All of a sudden you're crouched down, second pedal's ruined. If you're pulling up back in the gate, guess what happens? Your hips hit your handlebars before you create momentum. You stall. Do not use your arms. Now, do elite riders, big riders like this, so their front wheels come up off the ground?
Yes.
Are they pulling them up?
No.
Why do they come up? If you don't answer correctly on this one, or give me a good answer, I'm never going to ask you another one, all right?
Okay, so it's because you have a lot of momentum going forward that
No. But it does have something to do with momentum. It's called torque. Because we have so much more power, the more torque and speed we create, that front wheel just wants to come up. Most elites actually have to push their front wheels down. For me, I had so much power and so much torque. Believe it or not, my legs were actually twice the size when I was a pro than they are now, that I had to roll my wrists forward so hard that they hurt. And that was the only thing that kept my front wheel down. So if your kid has a problem with front wheels coming up, roll the wrists forward. It handicaps them for that not to happen, all right? So there's two types of gates, little kid gate, big kid gate. The only difference is that big kids have more power, they do everything faster, they create torque, that front wheel comes up. But the form is exactly the same. Can we drop this gate for them to do a couple little kid gates? All you guys back up to the top now. Stand up on the top platform.
So Ken, I don't know if you explained it already or power still down there, but which pedal should be before? Your power leg back, power leg forward?
Okay, we just got a good question. Should you be starting with your weak foot forward or your strong foot forward? Okay, technically, you should be starting with your weak foot forward. However, switching feet in the gate is like if you're right-handed riding, and then you decide at 15 you're gonna switch hands and start riding with your left hand. Anybody ever do that? No. Yeah, you can't. It sucks. You're terrible at it, so you don't do it. It's the same thing in the gate. This process needs to be so smooth that if it's not trained in you from the beginning, it won't happen. My dad, being the psycho he was, understood this. So when my little sister started BMX at 4 years old, he didn't give her an option to go with the dominant foot. She had to start with her left foot. And so she's only ever started with weak foot forward. So her style, her form, her finesse is all there. So it's something as if you're really fresh off the boat, terrible term, I'm sorry, but if you're just starting new in BMX, start with left. But if you've already done like 5 gates with your dominant, then no going back. It's one of those things. I spent a year and a half with the kids to try to train them. Just as an experiment, it didn't happen. Does that answer your question? It's all about finesse, comfort, doing the same thing all the time, all right? So these guys are gonna show us a couple little kid gates. No power, no speed. They're just gonna demonstrate exactly what we said. They will be stopping after 3 pedals because if they hit that dirt, somebody might beat me up, all right? Which means I'm gonna beat you guys up. See? All right.
I'll just get them the rake.
Jen, you ready?
We're ready.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
You know, teenagers. They go right to the end, aren't they? Hey, Wally, set back up. Hey, everybody say, hey, what's up? Doing gates. Airdrie BMX. Well, Airdrie Lagoon today. All right, one more little kid gate. Did you guys notice how they stand up? They're doing the same thing all the time. Nico, by the end of today, I want you to have a routine in the gate that is so dialed in that when you're 25, you're doing the same thing. Right? Do they look like they're trying out of the gate?
No. Yeah?
No. We overcomplicate gates so often. That's why if we stand up properly, all we really got to do is push, throw forward, and pedal. So that's why, to me, stance is the most important part of the gate. Because once that's dialed in, we're all dialed in. The other thing I didn't talk about is pushing on your front pedal in the gate. How many of you guys push on your front pedal in the gate? How's that working for you?
Good.
Can you guys stand up for me? You always want a little bit of pressure on your front pedal. A little bit. But you see these guys? See how relaxed they are in the gate? They're controlling the way they're balancing isn't by moving their bodies, wiggling their hips. It's all just little finite movements in the shoulders. If you start falling over, you just kind of move your shoulder over. When you do that, your form never changes. So you can make little fixes without your form ever being changed, okay? Now I want you guys to push down real hard in the gate. Do they look like they're working now?
Yeah.
Now they're pushing on one side of their bike, so their upper body's having to pull against that to keep them in the middle. Are they going anywhere? No. Don't push down on your front pedal. Have pressure on it, but don't push down. Because it doesn't matter how tough your mom says you are, you're not knocking this thing over. I promise you. Okay? And the best gates are those that go from 0 to 100. And the farther you can make that gap, the faster you're going to be on your second, third pedal. Understood? Any questions so far? All right, let's see another little kid gate here.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
Simple, right? So today we're going to make sure your gates are dialed in that simple form. We're going to get rid of some habits. You guys go full tilt boogie? Go full tilt boogie? Yep. So now they're putting all their power into it, all right? Let's see how their gates go now.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
Any questions? Actually, who watched Dylan's gate that time? Can you tell me something he did bad on that one? That's okay. No, and listen, all gates, you need to have some warm-up gates. These guys are on the spot right now. We gave them no time to warm up and practicing at useless gate. But what happened with Dylan? Tell me. Tell me, I'm pointing at you. Yeah. And so was he getting good strong power pedals? No. What did he do wrong in his form that time? So when Dylan, I hate to put you on the spot, buddy, you're awesome, by the way. So when Dylan came out, his upper body was too tall, and his front wheel came up. I want everybody, you guys know what lawn darts are?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a banned game nowadays, right? But anyway, I want you guys to pretend you have a dart in your head, okay? And I want you to lead with your dart. If you look at elite gates, their heads and bodies are always in front of their bars. Why? That keeps your front wheel down so you can power through that second pedal. So when we do gates, you go with your hips, but make sure you lead with your head. If you can look at the front of your number plate as you come out in the gate, you're doing it right. All right? One more big kid gate, and then we'll go have some fun down there. All right, if you were behind one of these guys, back up, because as we now know, our bikes go backwards before they go forwards. Here we
Okay,
go.
riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
See Dylan lead with his head that time? See how much better his gate was?
Yeah.
Again, you guys don't understand how big a pressure it is to be standing in front of 30 kids watching you do a gate. So, hey, good job, trainers. Appreciate that. All right, so we have 3 gates set up.